support up to 8 cameras. It's not necessarily restricted to these 8 cameras. It's just that these are the 8 cameras that we have tested so far, and it's giving us really good results. Any questions? So if you have a PTZ camera installed within your DVR or NVR, you know that after a certain amount of time, you can actually configure it to act a certain way. For example, maybe after 60 seconds, you want it to do like an auto tour or auto pan. With the 8.3 software, we now have a schedule in which you can actually set up certain times of the day where you want the PTZ cameras to act differently. So say, for example, in the morning, you can have the PTZ camera do an auto tour. In the afternoon, you can have the PTZ camera point at a certain direction. And maybe at night, you want the PTZ camera to do a multi-position tour. Sure.
I saw a camera once that a car drove up and followed it and stopped. Guy got out of the car and the camera followed the man. Was that that would do that?
Right. Right. So the car stops and the guy gets out, and of course it's going to track the moving object.
With that, is that basically only per one fixed camera to work with that PTC, or can you use multiple fixed cameras and set the parameters so that if it were a parking lot, and let's say you had 3 cameras on the parking lot, and the vehicle were to park, when the person exits the vehicle, can it go from camera 1 to camera 2 to camera 3 and continually track if the PTZ is capable of capturing an area?
Hand it off to me?
Yeah, hand it off from one camera to the
What do you mean they're all PTZ cameras?
No, I mean one PTC. If I'm understanding correctly, the way this software works, you have a fixed camera. If they come by that fixed camera in that area, and you set up a zone, when they drive through that zone, that PTZ will zoom in and follow.
Right.
Okay.
That's what we had for our older software versions.
Okay.
Basically, you would have to set up a fixed camera and a PTZ camera with it in order to have object tracking.
Okay.
With 8.3, you only require the PTZ camera.
Wow.
So the PTZ camera itself can actually track the object. So you don't need that fixed camera anymore.
Oh, that's nice.
As you all know, with installing IP cameras, it can really eat up the bandwidth of the network. So our software can actually reduce that bandwidth usage by limiting the recording frame rate of the IP camera itself. There are 2 options. Basically, first option, you can only record the key frames streamed in from the cameras. And the second option is that it can actually reduce the recording frame rate. For the IP PTZ cameras that we do support, we also support PTZ idle protection for them as well. And with 8.3, we do have a range of cameras that does support H.264. A range of third-party IP cameras. As you all know, you can incorporate input and output devices with our systems to improve software capability. So one new feature within the software is that it can actually, upon an input trigger, it can actually trigger multiple cameras to start recording. So you can go ahead and trigger as many cameras you want when a particular input has been triggered. You can also configure an output to sound or to trigger whenever there's any video loss on the system, on the DVR or NVR. And if, say, someone triggers an input, you can have the name of the input overlaid onto the live viewing channel and have it on playback as well. All right, with our new generations of the IO-USB box, you can actually hook these devices up online to be configured and added to the DVR over the network or the internet. The advantage of this is basically increases the distance in which you can incorporate output and input devices to your DVR, and it reduces any necessary wiring that you need to do in order to hook the device up to the DVR itself. And again, with our 8.3 software, we now support the Blackbirds, of course, and the iPhone. Alright, so that will be the end of 8.3 new features. Are there any questions at this point?
Like you want to access your server, you can use your remote desktop, right, to get to your server. It's,
I'm sorry, I did not hear that.
like, you know, a remote desktop, can you access the server with remote desktop?
Oh yes, definitely. If you have some sort of remote desktop application, you use that to access the server as well.
But like your server's already like, let's say you're using like the DMZ zone on your router or something, you throw your server out there, right, which is your Geovision server or whatever. How would you, would that application take over the remote desktop connection, or you can use?
Oh, okay. Usually with some remote desktop applications, they do use our HTTP port for default, port 80. So in order to still have regular webcam usage with our software, you just need to change the HTTP port in order to have both remote desktop and our webcam features.
One quick question, on remote live view, if I have multi-monitors in the same location, not using VGA or video cards, how many remote live playbacks can I have on that one system in the same intranet?
Remote live playback. We have a application called the Remote Vlog, and what that is basically is almost the same thing as Vlog itself, so you can actually play back 16 channels all at once.
But how many, 250 monitors, or is it limited to monitors?
It's just in one monitor. Yeah, it's a free application with just one monitor.
We can't have two monitors running different live views.
I think what he's saying is, for instance, let's say you're in the office and you're gonna have multiple computers log on and pull up that video to view it live from their desktops. How many users? Is that what your question was?
No, actually, it's, we have an office where there's the main system running, but I wanna put another monitor out in the field, another computer, another monitor out in the field, without using TV output. Can I watch two live views?
Another monitor out in the field without using TV output. Yes, you can do that with our multi-view application.
Remote?
Right, so you can connect to any DVR from a remote site. And display.
Right, okay. But how many, is that limited, or is it the 250 that we mentioned earlier?
Oh, yeah, it's 250. Maybe people connected to the DVR. Yeah, we can change that. Are there any questions? Alright, so now we'll be going more in terms of the GIS software. John mentioned a little bit about it earlier. Basically, this is our main mobile solution. What it can do is it can track and monitor certain vehicles on a map. So what will you need in order to have GIS to work? So you need either a video server or a compact DVR installed with a GPS receiver to transmit its global location. And along with a 3G wireless adapter, we'll be able to put the unit up online and transmit the information to our GIS software, which should be able to track and monitor the DVR itself.
I had a question pertaining to that. Does that require, with the 3G, do you have to have any type of subscription or any type of service provider for that, or does this work?
As of right now, we have two models. One is with Verizon, and the other, not so sure, but you can check within the user manual.
Okay.
Should be within the appendix area, but as of right now, we only have two models that we support. Oh, Verizon is Sprint, sorry.
Okay.
Alright, some key features within the software. Our software supports up to 500 mobile hosts, up to 10,000 fixed hosts. So for example, you can add like DVRs as well. It can support live viewing as well as playback. It uses Google Maps and Microsoft Virtual Earth to provide the map. And it has special features such as region, route detour detection, and position radius query, which I'll describe in more detail in later slides. And it also has